All right, we're out here kind of in the middle of nowhere, eastern Idaho, out for a ride. And today I'll be talking about my 2020 Harley-Davidson Softail Slim. I recently traded in my 2020 Softail Standard for a 2020 Softail Slim. And in this video, I'm going to explain some of the reasoning behind that. All right. So, why did I buy a 2020 Softail Standard and 1 month later traded in for a 2020 Softail Slim? First, let me talk about why I bought the Standard. I've been riding for about 13 and a half years. All the motorcycles that I rode were essentially sport bikes or high-performance motorcycles. And so I didn't really understand the value of a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. So when I first started researching and looking at the Softail line, I found out that they all essentially had the same engine. Some of them were a little bit larger, but they're all Milwaukee 8 engines. They all have the same transmission, and they all have the same chassis. So I was doing research, and I didn't understand the value of, say, something like a Slim, or a Deluxe, or a Lowrider over a Softail Standard. They have the same engine, they have the same suspension, the same brakes, the same chassis. There's some very slight variations there. There's different fenders and different handlebars, but to me, since I had 13 years of experience on performance motorcycles, when it came to value, to me, it was all about the engine. It's all about the suspension. It's all about the brakes. It's all about the chassis. It's all about what makes a motorcycle perform well. And so, in my mind, I really couldn't justify spending more than the minimum to get the engine, the chassis, the suspension, and the brakes that is in the Softail line, which was all provided by the Softail Standard. And so yeah, that's why I got the Softail Standard. Now, why did I trade in the Softail Standard for the Slim? Well, after a month of riding and over 1,700 miles on my Softail Standard, I begin to understand the value that Harley-Davidson provides. And it's not a performance value. It's kind of an experience value. And that's really hard to articulate. The whole experience. And riding a Harley-Davidson is fun, regardless of the situation that you're in. So, when I bought my Standard, the first thing I wanted to do was take it out on some twisty roads, and I did. Went out kind of up into the mountains up here, found some twisty roads, ripped around, had a lot of fun. And then, I came home. And on the way home, I spent some time on some long, straight, boring roads, and also spent some time in town, stoplight to stoplight, stop sign to stop sign, intersection to intersection, first and second gear type stuff. And what I found was, yes, the Harley's fun in the twisties, but it's also fun just kind of cruising around in a straight line at a moderate speed. Like here, I'm going 45 miles an hour, just kind of cruising, going straight, and in town, from intersection to intersection, stoplight to stoplight, stop sign, first and second gear type stuff is also enjoyable. The riding experience of a Harley Davidson is not dependent on the road conditions or the environment that you're in. You know, with a sport bike, they're fun as hell in the twisties. But you take them on a highway, take them in town, intersection, they suck. They just plain suck. Everywhere you go on a Harley is fun. And so basically something like this, where I'm just cruising straight, this is great. If I was on an R1, I'd be bored out of my mind. So that's where I discovered the value of Harley Davidson. Having my Softail Standard, I was getting into like the Harley Davidson, not necessarily the culture, but I just became more interested in Harley Davidson as a whole after having the Standard because I enjoyed it so much. And so I'd be on their website looking at parts, and I was even looking at bikes too. And, you know, just by learning what the bikes are, what the models are, what their differences are, what features they have, the style, after looking at bikes over and over and over again, reading about them, just getting into it, I realized that I really liked the way that certain Harleys looked. Specifically, the Fat Boy and the Slim. I really like their sort of low stance, their low handlebars, the big fat front end. I like the look of a big 7-inch headlight versus like a 5 and I can't remember the size. Some of the others have like the lowrider and the street bob, and the Standard they have like, I think it's a 5 1/4, maybe 5 1/2. I can't remember. I'll post it up here. But I like the look of a big headlight. I like the look of the big fat forks. I'm not a huge fan. Pavement ends. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to turn around. The look of the Fat Boy and the look of the Slim really started growing on me. And the experience that I had on my Softail Standard of riding it everywhere and enjoying it no matter where I ride it, it built in that value where I could imagine paying $20,000 for a Softail and really not regretting it. The only problem is that $20,000 is not in my budget. So what I did was I took my Softail Standard into the dealership and I said, hey, you might think I'm crazy, but I'm thinking about trading this thing in after a month. I'm looking at the Slim because I love the way it looks. And in an ideal world, I would like a Fat Boy because I just love the way the Fat Boy looks. And the salesperson there said, hey, we've got a 2018 Fat Boy at our other store. It's got like 300 miles on it. It's a 107, and it'd be about the same price as a new Slim. And I was like, damn, all right. So I was like, yeah, let's try that one. I want to test ride them. I want to test ride the Slim, and I want to test ride the Fat Boy. So, you know, he told me, yeah, tomorrow I'll go down to our other dealership. I'll throw those bikes in the trailer. I'll bring them up here for you, and you can come by and test ride them. So that's what I did. I decided to take the Fat Boy for a spin first. So I went out on the Fat Boy, and essentially, I mean, I liked it. I liked the way it rode. It was super comfortable. You know, the floorboards, the handlebars, the seat, like everything was just in the perfect spot. It was just like the most comfortable bike I'd ever sat on and ridden. So I took the Fat Boy for a spin, and I came back and decided to take the Slim for a spin. And it wasn't until I rode the Slim that I realized how the Fat Boy handled. You know, during the riding the Fat Boy, obviously it handles a little bit different because of the big fat tires. But it really wasn't noticeable until after I rode the Slim. when I took the Slim around corners and on the on-ramp, big long sweeper on-ramp, you know, I would lay it over and it would just stick. It would just stick there like it was on rails, just leaned over perfectly, and it wouldn't want to stand back up. It was just perfect in the corners. In retrospect, I remember the Fat Boy kind of wanting to stand up a little bit and constantly have to adjusting my line. You know, it didn't really want to hold a line on a long sweeping on-ramp curve. I had to constantly kind of adjust, kind of, you know, over and over, make micro adjustments to get it to where I wanted to go. And a lot of people say that, like, oh, the Fat Boy takes more muscle to turn in, and it takes more muscle to get it to do it. I didn't really find that it took more muscle. I just found that it took constant monitoring. When it was slightly leaned over, it just didn't want to stay there. So you just kind of had to finesse the handlebars a little bit to make it hold its line. Whereas the Slim, I put it over, I pushed the handlebar, leaned it over, and it like locked in place. And, you know, after riding the Slim, I was like, yeah, this is the one. I mean, holy cow, this thing handles, this thing handles amazing. I'm just, like, shocked that it really kind of blows my mind, because I've always been anti-Harley Davidson handling and performance. But after riding the Fat Boy and the Slim, I knew it was the Slim that I wanted, so that's the story. I said the Slim, I came in, said, what'd you think? I was like, the Slim all the way. The Slim handles so nice. So, yeah, so I ended up not getting the Fat Boy. You know, there's a couple other reasons too. Like, the Fat Boy was a 107, which is fine. I mean, this is a 107 too, but the Fat Boy is available in a 114. And I know that sort of in the back of my mind, it would bother me a little bit that I had the lesser of the two Fat Boys. And another thing too is that it was a 2018 model year, and I know that the 2020 model years have a new oil pump that has been refined since 2017. Over the course of 3 years, they've been refining and improving the oil pump because they've had issues with it. And I knew that if I got the 2018 Fat Boy, that after my first oil change, I would want to replace the oil pump with a 2020, one from a 2020 M8. And that's what I would have wanted, and that would have cost me more money, and I don't know. And also, it didn't come with a factory warranty. I know you can get an extended warranty on a used bike like that, but so those are a couple other reasons. You know, if they had handled equally, if they had performed equally across the board, it would have been a much harder decision. I might have gotten with the Fat Boy if they handled the same, and I might have gotten an extended warranty, but I ended up with the Slim. So why the Slim? I don't know. I just love the looks of it. I love the looks of the Slim, and I love the looks of the Fat Boy. I love is this gravel? No. Oh god, that looked like gravel. I guess it's because I went from perfectly smooth, brand new paved road to sort of old school backcountry road. I love the look of the Fat Boy, and I love the look of the Slim because of their big, fat front ends, the big headlight, the big forks. I just love the way the Fat Boy and the Slim look. They look very similar. The side profile is very similar. They're both sort of squat, kind of low. The tank seems lower. You know, like the Lowrider S seems like it has kind of a lifted tank. It just looks that way from the side. They both have kind of like the bobbed rear fender. But yeah, I just like the way they look. And this is what I love about riding a Harley, is you can just take it out here and the experience is great. Anyway, that's all I can think of. That is why I traded my Softail Standard in for a Softail Slim. Thank you for watching. Leave some comments below. I'll make sure to answer or respond. And consider subscribing. And if you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you for watching.